I'm trying to do our best. The thing is, we straight on before when we started, we made a point to distinguish between Chinuch and education. Chinuch is, as you pointed out, is extremely important. This is like the basis for the entire development of the child. So that whatever he learns in the future, he will be right up there, he will be able to relate to it. He will know that this is speaking, so to speak, to him. And he knows that what this is about, what education is about, what learning about, what being a good boy is about. All of these things will be something that he has a personal understanding, a very personal relationship to. And not only on the basis that is being pointed out to him, but he has it because he's a Jewish child, because he's Neshama, he has that sense. He has that sense, and it is our job to enhance it and to reveal it. And the most important thing is let him sense that this is his turf. This is not something that's being imposed on him. Because this imposed on him, this is the worst thing that happens. And eventually, in the long run. So now that we've covered, so to speak, the very basics, how a child relates to things that he enjoys and to his environment and so forth, ultimately, we have to lead him, help him appreciate the educational phase of growing up. I said education, he's learning to make a bracha. He doesn't know what a bracha is. How does he relate to that? The fact that he's going to be rewarded if he makes a good bracha, that really is not sufficient. The reward is good, but that cannot be the basis for making a bracha, for him relating to the bracha. And the same thing goes for the other base, the same thing goes for everything else that he will eventually learn all the way to being a lam. We all know, going all the way, jumping all the way across. The Alter Rebbe says, if one learns, another says that's in the Haramisha. Amashe Kore Rav, Amashe if a person learns in the adult stage, Amashe Kore Rav, then so that he will get the title of Rav, so that he will be Mechubed and so forth. This is a very, very big mistake. He is missing on the whole principle of it. He's missing on the spirit of Torah, the spirit of Avodas Hashem. I want to kind of remind us, not for the show that this is prevalent, but this is something which is definitely there. We're very knowledgeable to the extent that we're able to debate our Torah. The Rambam Prague had debates with Goyish priests. That's not the Torah that we want him to learn in any time. That coming through? All right, we'll try. Is it better?
Slower. You can just tell him when you moved it from.
Sorry. This is definitely not the Torah we want to learn. But the Alter Rebbe says, "Tam ki yaskim liyosim rimeno." Even though it's Apid Darkoi, but we want to ask him that when he grows up, he will have the Torah will be the real Torah. Okay. Who today in our class, in the base class, whoever explains a phenomenal thing. That in the way that the Neshama was put into the group, into the world, the Neshama itself, what happens is that whatever he learns elicits an oil from the Neshama. He's not learning with Seichel, with Seichel in the group. Anything he learns, the Neshama immediately responds and is drawn, and there's he says the Chochmah, Bina Das, and even in Kes Makifim, Chaya and Yechida, everything is drawn. Everything gets involved. It's very important. The class today is what we learn today is phenomenal. That is the type of learning that we hope that our genius child will go up to experience. And in order to do that, we have to safeguard this it's not just the purity, it's the recognition that there is truth to it. And he personally, that this is his story. I tell you, it's his story. And this is already a different phase than what we spoke about the previous weeks. That he appreciates life, appreciates the beauty of the world, all that. Now it comes to the point where he really has to work, has to learn. Make a bracha. Make a bracha. What bracha do you make on this? Make a bracha so we can answer Omer. And then you say Meyani and so forth. What is the basis? What is the basis of all that? So in order to, the Alter says, we present to him Happy Darko. But this is a derech that is similar Kiyaskin, except Kiyaskin it becomes fully developed with the intellectual level and so forth. But in essence, it's the same derech. Darko is the same derech, even though right now it's not derech ha'emes because it's childish. It doesn't have the seichel with it, but the nekuda is the same. What is the nekuda? What is the nekuda in a person? The first principle in nekuda is that the Rebbe always says, the child has to know that there is ayin roya ve'ezin shemas. And this inyan from ayin roya ve'ezin shemas is not just to put, so to speak, a sense of awe, a sense of fear, a sense of care. You should be careful. Ayin roya ve'ezin shemas is on a child's level, even on an adult level, has a completely different meaning. From our perspective. Ayin roya ve'ezin shemas means this. And I'll step back a little bit. Like I said, the way it is by an adult, this is the way it is by a child on the child's level. The principle difference between the way we look at the world and the way the world looks, the secular world looks at it. Very important, very subtle, and very extremely important. The Rambam tells us straight out. The first principle of how we should look at the world is that there is a motzur rishon mamzik onus. Which means that if we see the world, we don't see the world because we discovered the world, we found it. We see the world because mamzik onus showed it to us. Tells us, here's the world, this is the world I want you to live in. I put you here, this is what we learned in the Maimon. He forced the Neshama into this world. The Neshama didn't find its way in the world. The Neshama is not going to look at it, he's not interested to finding the world. This is something which was presented to him. This is the principle in our life. This is a principle in adult intellect. Whatever you see, remember it is something which is being shown to you. The famous Watan Baal Shem Tov, whatever a person sees, he should know there's a lesson to him. This is not an overstated idea. That he must learn something from this. This is meant for him. This is exactly how come he sees it. That's the world we live in. As adults, this is the world we live in. And Chas v'Sholom, if you lose sense of that, you begin to live in the world that we discover. Besides being a very lonely place and lifeless place, it puts such a burden on the person. And besides, it's false. It's not what the world we live in. I mean, there's much to speak about this, but we have to understand. This is the primary difference, literally, between the way we see the world, and as a result of this, the way we see the world brings us further and further recognizing the godly presence. And everything we see in the world, we see more and more godliness. It's phenomenal. Like we speak in the classes these days. Phenomenal. Wherever you examine the world, you see greater godliness. And Rahman Islam, the more they see the world, the more they see the doom. To the extent they lose sense that a human being has a soul. A human being has intellect. Not everything. And that is the difference. Is it reality? Is it real? Or is it something which I discovered on the basis of my own experience? That's my phone. It's a mighty call. Okay. You can pause it. Gentlemen, by the second call, unless we don't have a meeting, the second call will have to go. So this principle is what we have to be mechanech the child with. He doesn't understand the whole phenomenon of, what's a rishon mamzik, but he has to have that sense that there is a reality in the world and that it is being shown to him rather than he has to get it. I was thinking there are certain very simple steps that give the child that sense. Very simple. Starting with the Rebbe says that we have to see to that the child has his own money. So that he gives daughter, he should give his daughter from his own money. He should have his own seed, have his own chumash and so forth. That's one aspect. The other aspect is put the opposite. The child has to know that before he takes something, he should ask. And what's the significance of asking? Asking is not asking for permission. Asking is recognizing, yes, indeed, there is some place where this is coming from. And if you ask for it, you're going to get it. On the simplest level, when you tell a child, make a bracha, because the Rebbe gave you, it has to make sense to you. And the child is used to the idea that if he asks, he gets. This is very important. Then when you say to him, make a bracha, he understands what that means. Make a bracha means, however you translate it, but thank him, whatever it is, the point is, it was given to him. He didn't just take it because it's there. Then the bracha and what he got is two separate things. It was given to him, and this is why he makes a bracha.
I'm not following. You right now saying we're making a second point, right? The first point we discussed until now was basically to kind of cultivate this awareness that child has innately, and now we're saying second point. I don't hear the difference.
This is already a further stage. This is like developing, so to speak, his intellect, learning to make a bracha.
So to say, like some kind of a consequence from the previous, it's drawn from the original one.
It's built on that. It's not automatic. It's built on that. Once he has a real sense of reality, then we bring him into the world, so to speak, and he should know that the world comes from that reality. It's real. It's presented to him, and if he asks for something, this is very important. If he asks for something, give it to him, if it's appropriate. So he knows, yes, there is where this is coming from. The Gemara says, an Oni an Oni who is traveling, in those days there were all Anim traveling from village to village, from city to city. And between villages, it used to take a day of the journey. Basically, that's the way it was. So when he comes here, he came at night. So he gave him a meal for the night. Before he leaves, he gave him a meal for breakfast. Then you give him another meal that he should carry in. It's called pas basala for the road.
What pas?
Basala it's called. He has a pas bread in his basket.
In his basket.
So the Lord says, why do you need bread? He's going to get a supper. He's going to get a meal. So he only has 2 meals. He's going to get to the next village. He says it's different. When he feeds it, he has pas basala. He has something with him. This pas basala is when he gets it in the basket, and for the child to know that yes, there is the ayin roya v'yesh shomas. There is the one who is taking care, the one that you can ask for and you get. It's very important. I mean, this is part of the growing up of the child. So that when he makes a bracha, it is not merely thanking, it's not merely being a good boy. He relates to it. Because that which he had was given to him. He didn't just go in and take it because it was there.
What's the correlation between this example you brought from the Gemara and what you just explained?
The sense that there is what's called more where this came from. That's what this Masala is. That is, so to speak, an important part in the well-being of a child as it grows up. Not only the well-being, in the spiritual well-being. If you want to teach him, make a bracha, and then afterwards you want to teach him alibes. What's alibes? Alibes is also something that was given to us by the neighbors. Again, the whole idea that everything in the world was created, was given, and everything that you need is given, and all you need to do is just for the asking. This develops, you can read, maybe we'll talk about it more. This establishes a relationship between the person and the neighbors. And this relationship is not merely because he's taking care of my needs. This relationship gives him a sense of his own status, so that what he does is important. I've seen this mistakenly, when a child makes a mistake. A child makes a mistake, and the first thing you want to make the child feel good is say, forget it, it's nothing. It's a big mistake. It's not nothing. Nothing is nothing. You can correct it, and you can, whatever the situation, there are means to correct everything, but it has to be corrected. Why? It's not just because you want in the real world. And this is, you don't want to be isolated from the real world. You're part of it. It's not making it difficult. I never said I raise a mass, but the goyim, it means you should be careful. You're going to be punished. For us, it means something else completely. There is a real relationship. The world is something which was created and given to us. And it's given to us for us to develop it and to guard it.
What was that the child, children tend to ask mommy and daddy to, like, look what I just did, look what I'm doing. Like, look. They say, it sounds like close to what you're saying. They always want to know that somebody sees what they're doing,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. That's already in terms of their abilities. That's maybe the next stage. Look how I'm davening. Listen to my davening. That's maybe the next stage. And the point is, what is davening? Who are you talking to? So even though it's at Darka, there's no way he understands what it means. But that Motzei gives you a real place in the world. And there is the Menachem was placed here. There is a reality around in which you live. That the child can relate to, and it's imperative that he relates to. Just one thing, because we have to go down. One quick thing I always say, it's mind-boggling. How it hits you. The worst thing, the worst mental state that a person can have, suffering, at moments now, the person does not know who his parents are. It's called asufi in the Gemara, asufi. So what's so terrible? People took care of him. He doesn't know who his parents are. The effect of that is that he has no roots in the world. The world is not real to him. He was born out of blue. He came down from the sky, from the clouds. And therefore, he has no respect for the world. If you examine, I'm sure that much of the crime, when we have crime today, the Rembrandt and Schwarzer, they don't know who their parents are. They have no stake. The world means nothing to them. Even a goy, you know, the goy have a parent, so he has respect for the world. It's a real place. So this is the extreme lahmans on the good side. The primary thing is that the world is meant for you, and it's guarding, it's supplying you. Whatever you ask, you'll get. A child in the home, and he gets used to it, saying, if I ask, you want to ask for it. Don't just grab it, ask for it. You'll get it, but ask for it. It's a tremendous thing. That gives him a self-respect. I ask him. At the same time, he should have something that he doesn't have to ask for. He has his own. Both. This, you know, it has to be both. This is one balances out the other. This asking for it is the beginning of introducing him to here's what Torah says. These are the alibis. You don't know alibis on your own. You have to be taught. I'm teaching you. That's like you don't have an apple on your own. You have to ask for it. This is the alibis is the same thing. You have to ask for it. Then the child cherishes his teacher. He's giving it to him.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to cut it short.
Thank you very much.
Sabana,